What's going on, everybody? Gabriel Santos here, the author of Marijuana Mindfulness, the ebook. It's been a couple weeks since I made a video. It's good to be with y'all. I'm out here at the beach, as you can see. I just wanted to make a video just to communicate with y'all, shout out, let y'all know how I'm doing, and drop a message, especially for people who are new to the channel, and a couple messages just in general, particularly for the marijuana quitting or life-changing community. All right. So first things first, I am well over 2 months on my 2019 weed-free journey that started back in mid-December of last year. It's going great. I feel great. I am hardly ever craving marijuana, and that comes from years of experience, just kind of knowing myself when it comes to weed, having gone 8 months in the past, and also having many different outlets for stress and entertainment, and the other various reasons why I used to go to weed, which leads us to our first point, our first message for people. So now that weed is no longer a part of my lifestyle, what allows me to be without weed and not feel so empty without it, or feel so anxious without it, so to speak, is that over time I've created other ways to meet my needs. So for example, one of the reasons why I'd smoke weed a lot is because I felt anxious and I didn't know how to deal with stress. And because stress and anxiety is something many of us deal with, we need outlets for that. Whether, some people, they watch Netflix, other people, they eat food, other people exercise, other people meditate, and those of us on this channel, we often smoke weed. And many people smoke weed in a healthy way to reduce anxiety. The issue for people, in my experience, the issue for people that feel like they're addicted to weed is because marijuana becomes the go-to activity for what feels like 100 reasons, right? When we are stressed, we smoke. And this is all conditioned, by the way, meaning over time, we unconsciously made weed the go-to activity for different reasons, okay? So over time, when we were bored, we smoked weed, and we did that a billion times over the years. So now that every time we feel bored, our go-to brain, psychological, emotional pathway is to go to weed, okay? So over time, we made boredom go to weed. Over time, we made wanting to have fun go to weed. When we want to celebrate, we go to weed. When we're stressed, we go to weed. When we wake up, we go to weed. When we want to be hungry, we go to weed. When we want to go to sleep, we go to weed. When we just want to maybe tap into a spiritual state of being, we go to weed. You get what I'm saying? And so if you're someone who wants to gain sense of control over your weed use, part of that is needing to have new outlets for what weed used to bring you, okay? So for example, now that I'm stressed, I do breathing exercises, or sometimes I'll go eat something, or sometimes I'll go work out. When I'm bored, I watch The Office, or I journal, or I just have a bunch of different things in my life now where I'm not just at home all day smoking weed. Like I have a job, I have this YouTube channel, I have many different things on my schedule that take up my time. And so I guess the conclusion for that message is, what will remove the craving to smoke weed is finding a replacement activity for the trigger being feeling bored, or the trigger being wanting to celebrate, right? And then the second message, because for people who are finding themselves unable to quit, or going 2 weeks and then relapsing, or going 2 months or whatever, notice how much shit you give yourself for failing. Okay, and the purpose is to be more gentle with yourself, be more celebratory with how long you've gone, as opposed to giving yourself shit for how long you haven't gone. All right, because this past week, I found myself just kind of giving myself a lot of shit for all the things that I'm not doing. Like, oh God, I'm not fully financially independent, or oh God, XYZ. And it's that classic story of, I'm not enough, and because of XYZ. And one of the sort of illusions that we human beings run ourselves through is the illusion that we can't feel worthy until something, right? Like, we can't feel good until we get an A in school, or conversely, we say things like, if I get an F, I must feel bad about myself, right? So basically, we've just become conditioned to feel certain ways based on certain stories, and it's simply not true. And so one of the stories, as a person who is training themselves to be free from weed again, is to, when you go 2 weeks without smoking weed, it technically doesn't mean anything. You can make it mean whatever you want. And the reason why we often feel like poo-poo when we only go 2 weeks and then we smoke again is because we are unknowingly saying to ourselves, I need to go 17 years without smoking, and then I will feel this way. So point being, I get that you expected better of yourself, right? You had planned on being more committed, so to speak, and at the same time, like, this weed thing it's quite a tricky effing thing to go through. And so it's okay. It's okay. It's okay that you're having a hard time. It's okay that you're feeling like crap right now. All right, that's part of it. Is part of it. When something like weed has become a central hub for our emotional states and our emotional well-being, when we remove that, it's going to create all kinds of chaos in our bodies and our brains and our feelings, because it's like, think of weed for a lot of us being like a pillar as like a structural foundation for our building being our lives. And when you remove a pillar that's so fundamental, especially for emotional balance, stress relief, things like that, the whole thing's gonna fall freaking apart. It's expected, guys. That's my point, guys and gals. It's expected. When you remove something, if you've ever been in a relationship and you and your partner broke up, you and your girlfriend or boyfriend or wife or husband broke up, it's a big fucking deal. It's like moving. It's like moving homes. That's what it is in your life. It's like moving. The transition is huge, You'll feel it. And so the more rooted something in your life is, and if you remove that thing, you're gonna feel it, all right? And so, and the ironic part about removing weed is that it's stressful on the body, on the brain, on the mind, okay, on the spirit. And the irony is that part of what we all use weed for is to handle stress. So you're removing weed and it's causing stress, and the one thing that you love to use weed for is to remove stress. So it is such a mind effort. You got what I'm saying? It's such a mind F of a situation, so I get it. It's difficult. It's challenging, right? So yeah, I just want to share that message. Appreciate everyone who has been commenting, subscribing, watching these videos. It's pretty wild. Recently, one of someone who I knew in college, I wouldn't call her a friend, but I knew her, and she recently emailed me saying she found my CBD versus THC video, and it's just a trip, y'all. Like, I guess last message is, if you have a message to share, YouTube is a place to do it. And if you're scared of sharing, I get it. And at the same time, helping people is a really damn good feeling, even if you don't necessarily get paid billions of dollars to do it. It just feels good to share. And, some of the rewards is, people appreciating you, whether it's through likes, whether it's through comments, and at least by sharing something, even if you just affect 10 people, you can feel the impact. So anyways, share yourself, be gentle with yourself, and find other ways to handle stress and handle life. All right, guys? Appreciate you all. It is now March, my birthday month. I'm going to be 27 this year. Trippy. But yeah, until then, I'll see y'all next video. Peace.